Very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet. That life is all for living and love is all.
Right, and a very special day we do have. It's a terrific Thursday, and I want to thank our sponsors this morning: Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky, and Cat and Core, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Fox Fleet Wealth Management. I am joined by my co-host this morning, Greg. This morning, good morning.
Morning.
And we do have by phone our own health nurse over here at Washington County. We have Alicia Thompson. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning.
So glad to have you with us. And you've been a very busy lady.
Yes, we have been over here.
Definitely. Well, we want to do some catching up and getting some information from you. And hopefully, what I like to do, and Alicia, I appreciate we value your your coffee clubs with us. I definitely do, because I feel like that we talk about the crap or the fact or crap stuff, or just letting people know, because there are so many different avenues that we're hearing from, and so many different things. We just really want to know what's real and what's not, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you're getting some calls that you get, where is this information coming from? I'm sure.
Yes, there's lots of rumors that float around often.
Right. Well, let's talk about this, and let's see where we're at right now. Of course, we know 2 of our 3 county schools have made the decision to go virtual right now. So kind of let us fill us in where we're at right now with everything.
Well, I mean, we've got this Delta variant that's circulating, and it's really affecting a lot of the younger people, and unfortunately that's including all our children in these schools, along with also the teachers and staff. So it was becoming a struggle for them to stay open, to have enough people actually there to be able to work, or enough students there to be able to learn. So next best option was to go virtual and keep them in learning, but at the same time a little safer to try and prevent this from being passed along.
So what is the difference between, and how would we know the difference between the Delta variant and COVID? Or we've got so much going on here. How do we know, and how do the doctors know, or is that a different test, or how is that?
So the way the state does that is, no, the doctor's offices are not going to know what variant is. The state is the one that determines by random samples who they're going to, not completely random samples, but who they're going to further take that test and find out what type of variant is, so they can further track it. Anyone that has been fully vaccinated and then gets COVID tested, if it comes up positive, state will definitely go on and take that test to find out what the variant is. And then they also will do their random samples of the other population to see what those variants are.
Right. Okay. And I know, and I'm going to try my best. And I told you before we go on the air, that I'm going to try not to be all over the page. And I think I am going to go everywhere. I'm sorry, Alicia. Stay with me, because I'm going to be popcorn this morning, because I have so many thoughts and so many questions here. But going back on the school, I want to say this, that the kind of how the state has done this. They have left it up to the school boards. But when it gets so bad in a school, and it gets so where it's over 20%, I think that's the percentage. When it's over that, which our schools were getting over that, and they were over that, you have to do something. Right. I mean, I want to explain that's when the administration can take the administration emergency and just go ahead and call it. And it's not actually, because our school board had not actually met to make that decision.
Yes. So the Department of Education does get to step in here, and they have their requirements or recommendations, or I'm not exactly sure what I should label that, whether it's a requirement or recommendation, but not just for COVID, but any illness. Right, exactly. Once the school reaches about a 20% threshold of students and faculty being out, then they're supposed to close down to try and mitigate the situation.
Right. Well, and yeah, you're right, and I think it is a requirement, but it could have been. Let's roll back. Remember, when everybody went through, and we know in school this happens whenever school, everybody comes together, like a stomach bug or something. We've seen those percentages where, and I do remember in the past where they, maybe not shut down for a length of time, but for a few days, just so that everybody can kind of get themselves together. And that is something that, that is, it is a must in some occasions.
Yes, and I think that the reason that the two schools that have gone virtual are selecting to stay closed for the 2 weeks is because that is the time frame that is taking for transmissions and for quarantines to be over with. Once you have been around somebody as a close contact, you have that time frame that you're supposed to stay out and away from everyone. So that's just a really good reference for them to use to pick their time frame, how long they needed to be shut down. Try to nip this in the bud.
Now, is the quarantine time went from 2 weeks to 10 days? Is that what it is now?
So actually, they give employers and schools the option. 14 days is still the standard, but then they said that you can do a 10-day, but they have other requirements for it. If you've been a close contact, you can stay out for 10 days if you don't want to be tested, but then when you return after that 10 days, you have to continue to wear a mask at all times for the additional 4. Or they also had the option to pick an 8-day. So if they picked the 8-day, you can go get tested on days 5, 6, or 7, and as long as you get a negative result from a PCR test on day 5, 6, or 7, you may return on day 8. But in saying that, like I said, the schools or the employer get to pick which of those policies they choose.
And a PCR test is?
It's not a rapid. It's the one that is going to take them a couple days to get the results from.
That's the one that goes up your nose.
That's the nose. That's the uncomfortable one, right?
Yes. Well, and the rapid's up the nose also, but yes, they're all uncomfortable. That has to be inserted at least 3/4 of an inch up into the nasal sinus cavity, and it has to be swiped around at least 5 swipes while spinning in it for at least 15 seconds per nair. That's the nose hole. So it's uncomfortable. Your eyes are probably going to be watering, but it's doable.
Yeah.
Is it a requirement that it touches your brain?
Does not. I promise you it does not. If it was able to get to your brain, you have more important worries than that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say, you have to find one first, right?
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah. So going back, Alicia, there's also some things too with the we talk about this, and I want to clarify because I actually did not understand this, but there is a third shot available. But explain that, and it's not a booster. Explain the differences and where we're at with all this.
Okay, state is telling us that there is a third dose available for immunocompromised people that meet very specific requirements. So if you feel like you're immunocompromised and you possibly fit that situation, you can feel free to give us a call. We're going to ask you some questions to see if you fit that criteria. If you do, you can get signed up with us or one of the pharmacies or so. If you don't meet that criteria, you don't get a third dose. You will get a booster, and they're hoping to start those boosters mid-September or sometime shortly after.
Okay, and then going back on that third, if you were to get the third shot, is it like, okay, so like if you got like one brand, do you stay with the same brand, or how is that done, or is it a different brand, or?
They want you to stick with the same brand that you got before, but they also tell us if that is not possible, if you cannot find a place that has that same brand, you may go to another 2-dose brand. In saying all this, if you got Johnson & Johnson, you are not approved yet for a second dose, since that was a 1 dose. You're not approved for a second yet. They're still doing testing on that to determine how they're going to do that, either second dose or booster. So I'm specifically talking about Moderna or Pfizer.
Right, and let's do, we didn't get to speak, but a few days ago, Pfizer did get approved, and that was awesome by the FDA, right?
Yes, they are now FDA approved for anyone ages 16 and older. They still have their EUA, emergency use authorization for those that are 12 and older. Pfizer is the only one approved for children 12 and older. It's still working remarkably well. I do want to throw out that, yes, we do have people that are coming up positive after receiving their doses, and that's just because this Delta is so much stronger. But those people that do come up positive or have after receiving this, chances are they had some other condition that was weakening their immune system in the first place, and they're not going to be nearly as severe or sick as they would have been if they had not gotten their doses at all.
Right. And I think that's something that you might, because that's something that we're hearing a lot of people that are not really being kind on that, saying, oh, well, you got the shot, but you still got it. But it's less, you're not going to have it as bad, correct?
And that doesn't pertain just to COVID. That's all vaccines. Yeah. None of them are 100% effective. They are all doing their job at helping prevent you from being able to transmit it as well to others, and to prevent you from having to be hospitalized or even death.
Right.
What would be somebody with a weakened immune system is maybe more likely to get this? So, you want to stay away from it, but if you can't, then what are some ways that you could boost up your immune system?
Well, everybody in general can just make sure that they have a very healthy diet. You're drinking plenty of water. You're getting your 30 minutes of exercise several times a week. And then there's other things over the counter, but please discuss them with your physician first. There's like vitamin C or zinc or echinacea, but like I said, please discuss that with your physician first to make sure that it doesn't interfere with any other medications or conditions that you have.
And Alicia, on this, on the shots, or with the speaking of the age and the FDA, have you seen a difference in people? Are more people getting has that made a difference when they did make it FDA approved? Was there a big big group of people that were wanting the shot now, or how is that? Did it matter?
Here at the health department, we have seen a small uptick, which is good. We would like to see higher numbers, but we're glad in any increase, and one more person is that much closer. It's helping us all out.
Right. And we are seeing some different areas that are getting testing and maybe also making the shots available. Is that true? And are in some of the different our listening areas, some vaccination areas there?
I know for sure that they have the ISDH has mobile clinics that they send out. Those can be requested by the health departments, and they will go out to those different areas if they're available. They set up these mobile clinics, and they are capable of doing testing and vaccines from them. And I do believe, don't hold me to it, but I do believe that when they show up that they will have all 3 brands of vaccine with them.
Oh, wow. So then you can choose then, right?
I believe they're letting you, yes. Our health department has requested a mobile clinic. We have not received word back from the state yet. We're really hoping that they approve us for it and that they will come down here, because we feel that there is a huge need for both testing and vaccine at the moment.
Well, and let's talk about that. I do want to say there are, and I have it up actually on my Facebook, but Corydon's got a site, Scottsburg. I'm just hitting some of the, kind of the Floyd Knobs. Has got some, and so you can look on my Facebook and find out some for those that are wanting to go ahead and our sister counties to go ahead and go to. But going back on this, if you with this the testing, they've made them over the counter, and we discussed that last time on the radio, talking about how people can go to Walmart and pick one up. But now we're learning that you can't even get them hardly anymore, because they're coming off the shelf as soon as they come in.
Yes, they are. And then the state does not accept them as a legitimate test, unfortunately. So if your employer is okay with you doing a home test, that's up to them. But they're not approved by the state. If it's somebody that's following state recommendations, if you do get a positive or continue with your symptoms after getting a negative, they want you to go see an official, I can't say physician, one of the official testing places to get swabbed, and it'll be sent off to a specific lab, so they have I don't even have my wording, I'm sorry. Haven't finished the coffee yet this morning. An approved lab so that they feel like the testing was done accurately. The problem with the home test is it's difficult to stick that swab that far up into your nose and swab it around for that long. I mean, that's a struggle. Your eyes start watering, you might start choking, and it's not guaranteed that it will have been done correctly. So the test may not be fully accurate, and that's why they prefer you to go somewhere else and have them done by someone that knows what they're doing.
Right, and that was last time we spoke, that was a question if they did go and actually have it, done at over the counter and then call you. But you're saying at this point, what a person should do is if they do, because I did hear an individual that said they did the test and it came back negative, and then in a day or two they redid the test and it did come back positive. And then they did go ahead and go to the doctor, and that's what they should do. And then of course the doctor confirmed that it was positive. Yes.
Right, absolutely. I'm not saying that those home tests are bad in any way, because if it does come up positive from your home test, then you know to go on and start staying away from everybody and taking extra precautions for yourself and those that are in your household, and notifying employer or schools that you have a positive, and then that employer or school will let you know if they need you to then go to a physician to have another test done so they have an approved one. But
and I do think it would be a huge blessing for our community if we could get, a testing site and then possibly another site for, because we're putting so much on the people that are doing it. There's they've got other things that they're doing too. So it would be a huge blessing if we could have the testing site and possibly the shot site, available for our community.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
It says here on the state site, just looked it up, they're supposed to have hours at the Goodwill on September 2nd and September 22nd.
Have you heard anything about that, Alicia? Or
I only heard 2 words from him. He keeps cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It says that on the state site, just looked it up, it says that they're supposed to do free testing at the Goodwill here in Salem.
Possibly the Goodwill in Salem.
Oh, we know nothing about that. I will definitely look into it, because as you say that, I'd like to put something out there to those people that showed up. There was another test site that they had on ISDH's map saying that they were having testing out here at our Kimball site, and that was not happening. We don't know what happened. We do not know how that got up on the state site. We were notified by people that were calling us to say, hey, I registered for this test site and I'm here, and there's a note saying there is no testing here. We know nothing about that. Sometimes, not sometimes, quite often, the state just doesn't notify us of things. And somehow that all got messed up, and they put that was a test site and people were registering and showing up, and it was not a legitimate site. So we will look into the Goodwill having a site.
Well, and that is something that, that we don't want either, the Goodwill now or Kimball. Don't be mean and don't be upset with them, because that was a miscommunication. And I don't feel like that's fair to our businesses, for that. I mean, it's a shame. And you can't hardly, I'm not trying to do the blame game, but please be kind to them, because, if it wasn't done, right. Or maybe this wasn't completely communication.
Right.
There was a slip in communication.
But if you do get there to Goodwill, September 2nd, I think, is an orange day, and September 22nd is a black day, so you can still shop and get some.
Yeah, you can do some shopping while
unless you're symptomatic, please.
Unless you're negative.
Stay in your vehicle.
Yeah, don't go in there. If it comes up positive, don't walk in there. And that's something, Alicia, that people are doing. We're seeing that, where they go and they do the test, and then instead of going, and staying away, they either go in somewhere and get their. Remember we talked about Gatorade?
Yes.
Gotta have that Gatorade. Or
please don't do that. If you've got a positive test, you're symptomatic, do not go into a store. Notify a neighbor, a family member, someone else in your household. There is There's Walmart pickup for groceries if you have to have that Gatorade or your bottles of water or your Tylenol or whatever it is you're wanting. There's drive-thrus to pick up prescriptions if you get a prescription called in. Please stop going into stores if you're positive or symptomatic. You do not know who that person is you walk past that may have themselves maybe in active cancer treatments or have a loved one that's already suffering from some illness that they may end up bringing home to them. Please stop being selfish.
Yeah, that was something that we really tried to do on a message, trying to make sure people realize just being good citizens and being good people and being good neighbors to everyone in the community by being responsible in doing that, because you might not know, you might be okay and you might not have it that bad, but someone else might, that you might give it to might not be that way. It might be a different story for them. And, I think it's being a good neighbor and being a good person. And I think that's something we just got to keep reminding people of how to behave properly, so to speak.
Right. And we were all taught morals and just common courtesy and respect. Let's just use those traits to help fellow mankind.
Yeah, exactly. And, and someone else too, we talked about too, for anybody that has to be off work that might not have insurance or have, financially, that it could be a really heavy burden for them.
Absolutely. And I fully understand that. I know that if it's like a problem with food or something, there's different resources like our food bank. You don't go inside, you stay outside, you pop your trunk, they're able to come out and help you. There's options to try and get around everything.
Right. And I know the schools are working to get some food programs, lined up and get some, and helping out families too, which is wonderful, which we love that, which any little bit of help that we can do is a good thing for sure. But it does get a little bit touchy, but also I do want to say too, Alicia, we've got some really good churches that, that also will, either, get whatever you need and we'll put it on your porch, so we've got a beautiful community and our community is a giving community. And I just think that if anybody does have anything like that, there are resources, and I just want to throw that out there for people that need help on that.
They need a Gatorade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gatorade.
Somebody will find you a Gatorade.
Hey, just be careful drinking the Kool-Aid, okay?
That's true.
But the Gatorade's good. But anyway, well, it's anything else that we need to know on this? I think we need to. That was news to me, and I don't know where you said, Becky. It's been in the news, and I don't know where it's been, but I didn't see it about the third shot for those that have some certain symptoms or certain conditions.
Health conditions. So that's the problem. Is the news on TV is mainly reporting for Kentucky. So we get mixed messages in watching that because they're going by Kentucky rules and not Indiana rules. We live in Indiana. We need to go by what the state is approving for us. I don't know. They get those mixed messages. So
I'm glad you're clearing that up. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. So my coworker here just called to verify the Goodwill site, and it's been canceled. So they have not taken it down from the state map for some reason, but it is canceled.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up right now. Tell her thank you so much because, that's important to make sure people don't depend on that.
Yeah. And we don't want to create
Goodwill corporate shut that down.
Okay. Well, and I know that possibly, and it is, you want an area. I know that was something that the state looked at, an area that had a good entrance and a good exit. You want the flow to go well. You don't want, a huge area that you can't flow traffic. So I know hopefully they'll find somewhere else though that in our community, because we do have other areas. And I think that there are people that do want to help on some of that. So, hopefully they'll contact the state or the state will contact them, and hopefully we can get something a little closer to home.
Yes, we hope so. Like I said, we've requested that mobile unit, which would end up doing testing and vaccines. So we hope to hear back from them sometime really soon about that and can hopefully help our community that much further by getting additional testing and vaccines out.
Right. Now, are you actually doing the shots there at the health department now?
The health department has Moderna. It will be done on Mondays and Tuesdays only, and only by appointment. We're still trying to limit the number of people that are in here to make sure that we're not all around each other and possibly spreading anything in here. So you have to call and make an appointment. We have Moderna, and we will try and get you scheduled as soon as possible.
Okay, and then if someone, okay, so how are they to, I guess, operate when they do, when you come in, or when you come into the parking lot, do you call, or do you go in with a mask on, or what's the proper procedure on that?
You may come in. Masks are required to be in this building. You come in at your time. Please don't come in early. Please don't come in late. If you're going to be late, you've got to call us. We got to make sure that someone else isn't in at that same time for an appointment if you end up late. Come in at your designated appointment time with a mask on. We'll give you some paperwork to fill out. We get you vaccinated. You have to sit here for 15 minutes afterwards so that we can observe you and make sure that there's no side effect.
And of course, the side effects, you've probably seen little, if any, on that, I'm sure. I'm sure it's done, I'm sure most people have not had much reaction.
So we are not seeing any major reactions, and that's what we are observing for that 15 minutes. We're trying to make sure that there's no anaphylactic reaction.
Right.
There is a chance of side effects. I should have chose better wording. Side effects, you can have red, swollen, irritated arm. It may be itchy. It may be hot. You can always use hydrocortisone cream on it, Benadryl cream on it, an ice pack. It's going to be sore. The more you use it, the faster it'll work that soreness out. You may end up with mild flu-like symptoms. That's just your body ramping up antibodies, making immunity to that virus. So that's why some people feel run down. Not everybody has any of these side effects, but there is a possibility for them.
Right, and that happens a lot. Even for those, you hear those that get flu shots or other shots. This is something that's pretty common to possibly have those, like, that light reaction.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's a good thing, actually, because that's when you're putting something different in your body should tell you that something's going on.
Yes, making you rest so it can continue to do its job and have the energy and reserves it needs.
And not have to clean house or anything like that.
Exactly.
You mentioned the flu. A lot of people have said, since COVID came out last year that we haven't had any flu, but that's not been the case. There's still been a lot of flu cases. But for those that just maybe just to remind people, what are the differences between COVID and the flu?
COVID oftentimes can cause loss of taste and smell. That is not the case with the flu. The flu quite often has high fevers. We've learned with COVID now that most often people don't end up with a fever from it. Most of them are going to make you feel quite run down, tired. That's your body trying to fight it off, so they'll overlap there. Congestion seems to often be one that overlaps also between the two of them. And that's why no matter what the symptoms are you're having, you need to go see your physician, your nurse practitioner, whoever it is you see, and be tested, and they can figure out what to do from there, because treatments would be different.
Yeah. Do they... I don't remember in my past that you go to the doctor and they say, well, you've got the flu and you get some medicine, but is there a test for the flu?
There is a test for the flu,
okay.
Yes.
All right, and that would be, is that something, and then also let's talk about this too, because we know there are other conditions. So you're doing the testing on certain days, but are you still doing other, like, shots and stuff, maybe for other things going on at the health department?
I'm just going to correct you for a second there, Becky. We do not do any testing.
I meant test. I'm saying testing. I'm sorry, shots. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes. So that is why we only do the Moderna on Mondays and Tuesdays, because the state was on us to get caught up on all the other vaccines, all those school children that needed their vaccines to get caught up, any pregnant women that needed their Tdaps or flu doses for pregnancy. Anyone that had any injuries and also needed a Tdap for that. And then the health department does other things. We have communicable disease. We have to track all those. Any TB cases, whether active or latent. There's lots of other things we do over here, and the state was like, hey, you all have to get caught up on everything else now also. And that's why we had to go from having strictly a COVID clinic to picking 2 days a week to give those COVID vaccines, and the other days of the week we are trying to get caught up on all other vaccines and the rest of our responsibilities.
Right, and I think everybody's very appreciative of that, too. I mean, not that, it seems like, and you will, and everybody, COVID has almost consumed everything almost, and that's something that we know. There are other things and other, life goes on, and we do have to continue with other things too. So I think that was a blessing when that, was opened up and saying, hey, we're going to do this a couple of days, but the rest we're going to do for other things too.
Correct. Yep.
One thing, and I think I've read this, I don't know which school, but it talked about their qualifications for quarantine. If the child was vaccinated, it seemed kind of confusing to me, but if the child was vaccinated and they didn't have to wear a mask, but if the child was not vaccinated and they had a mask on, then you had to quarantine. It's kind of confusing.
So each of the schools got to pick their own policies, but the state put out their recommendations that if you are a close contact and you were 2 weeks fully vaccinated, so 2 weeks after you've received your full doses, so whether for an adult that could have been Johnson & Johnson, just one dose, but for children, the Pfizer, or other adults, Pfizer or Moderna, you were 2 weeks past your second vaccine on those, and you're a close contact, that you do not have to quarantine as long as you don't show symptoms. Okay. In the event you started showing symptoms, you were then to quarantine immediately and go get tested. As far as the masks, the state wants everyone to wear a mask, whether fully vaccinated or not, just to help mitigate this further. But yeah, I don't believe they have to wear one if they were fully vaccinated.
Okay.
Well, and I think it gets confusing on that.
Yeah, but
yes, and it changes so often too, so trying to keep up with it.
Oh, absolutely.
As we know that, it seems like if you've been vaccinated, you can still get it, or you can still pass it. If you've got a mask on, you can still get it or pass it. So, I don't know what is the perfect solution to not get this.
I don't know that there is a perfect solution, and that's what's making this so frustrating. So, yes, even with the mask, it is possible, but it's a lot less likely. And the more people that have on the mask, it makes that likeliness even less. So if you're the only one in the room with a mask, it's a lot more likely. But the more people that have them on, less transmission. Because I know that they're not 100%. It's better than nothing. I don't.
Right. Well, and that's something that, that everyone, and it's something that I feel, and I don't like, and I hope, Alicia, that we can get the word out there to don't mask shame or don't treat, everybody be kind out there, and just, for those that are wearing the mask, keep doing it. If it's your comfort. And for those that do not wear the mask, don't make the people with the mask on feel like they shouldn't have the mask on, right?
Oh, absolutely not. There's no reason to do that. They have their own concerns or fears, or they have someone at home or even themselves that has some sort of condition that's warranting them to take extra precaution. So there is no reason to make anyone feel like they're doing something wrong, no matter what their decision is.
Right. And with the high numbers that we are, Alicia, I don't want to. I don't like fear. I know, and I don't want to put any kind of fear to people. But I think I did hear you say that this is not even probably as worse as it's going to get. It's probably going to get a little worse before it gets better.
We were foreseeing something like this happening in the winter once everybody was congregating indoors and closer to each other again. So for the fact that it is summertime and our numbers are skyrocketing like this is kind of terrifying for all these healthcare workers. What is the picture even going to look like in the winter? You know that it's going to be so much, will probably, very likely that it's going to be so much worse than it is currently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I hope that, when we talk, in December or whenever, I hope again, well, we'll talk before then, but I hope that we're wrong, you know what I mean? But it looks like when you start bringing everybody together and, you're not having that outdoors, that it looks like it's, and we saw that pattern, last year too on that.
Yes. And that's why we were hoping and thought we were wrong in this case, and I have no problem admitting that.
Okay. Well,
I have a problem being wrong, but I really hope it doesn't get worse over the winter, but I foresee that it probably will.
Well, and that's not, we were trying to stay positive. We were trying to say that, that maybe we got a little bit of, time. I know the schools, everybody was wanting to get as many days and get as much back to normal, if you will. And we all have done that a little bit. We had that little bit of a, if you will, that little bit of a, I don't know if, season or a phrase.
Formality.
Yeah, that we felt like that we felt like that maybe we were a little bit more, and then it come back that we're reminded that this is still real, it's still going on, and it's coming, and it's still ugly, and it's coming back,
Yeah.
Speaking of ugly, and I hate to even bring this up, but is there a epsilon variant yet?
I haven't even looked at that just yet. I did not see that one appear when we did our conference this week with the state. That doesn't mean it's not there. They're still just showing us the most prevalent at this moment. And there are others besides Delta. It probably have ones even stronger than Delta, unfortunately, as this continues to grow and change and mutate constantly.
Yeah, because this thing's like the perfect animal. I mean, its goal is to survive, and it's going to change and keep changing until it either it wins or we win.
Correct.
Well, and then Alicia, what does when you have, I think it's important to, to let our listeners know, and I know that you ladies stay very busy and all that you've got going on, but you do talk to the state and you do have regular meetings, and what do they say about all this? What I guess the ray of hope, what kind of conversations do you have?
The ray of hope they're still holding on to is that the majority of the population will get their vaccine so that we can at least decrease the amount of severity, hospitalizations, and death. We're just overwhelming hospitals, doctors' offices. It's not like all these other diseases, illnesses, cancers, any other condition has stopped. Those are still going on at the same time. And anyone that works in any type of healthcare facility, whether that's the nurses, the doctors, the nurse practitioners, the dietary, the cleaning people, everybody is so overwhelmed and so exhausted at this moment. I mean, before COVID ever appeared, there'd be days where you just went home and you were just, you had to go right to bed. You were so exhausted. So now to put a pandemic on top of that, people are just absolutely pushing their limits.
Right. And, I have a loved one that works in the health care, and to watch, all of the stuff that has to be put on, to, the health, I think we just can't, we've got to be so good to our healthcare workers and so responsible, because they are just, like you said, they're tired, they're overworked, and very dangerous too when they have families that they're going home to. Yes.
You have to do extra precautions, try and make sure that you're not bringing anything home to them.
Exactly. And it just, and it's heartbreaking as a mother, to watch anybody going through this, and it's hard, and as a loved one, and I just want people to realize what our healthcare workers and what all they're doing. And I know that, we try to talk about that, but sometimes I just want to keep reminding people that, they are doing such a great job, and their jobs are not easy at all. And we just have to keep respecting that and do our part so that we make it easier, if you will, on them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because you're still, whether you believe in this pandemic, whether you believe in the vaccine or not, you're eventually going to need health care for one reason or another, whether it's for yourself or someone in your family. And you want to be able to get in and be seen as needed. So we can't be burning out anybody that's working in healthcare, no matter what their position is.
Right, absolutely. And just I think those are just good reminders to people. Let's please do what all we can do. And, and Alicia, so the health department, what are we advising our community? Mask up and wash hands, social distance, stay home if you're sick.
Stay home if you're sick. Any symptoms, stay home.
Yeah. And we know that we, had RSV going rapidly around. Were a lot of people confused with that in COVID?
I haven't heard that. We actually didn't get any calls from the general population in regards to that. We were getting calls from daycares and schools and stuff about the RSV. So I don't know if they were thinking that.
I wondered because
it'd be terrifying. RSV's the worst for very young children. Right. So to think that your child would have RSV or COVID at such a young age would be detrimental.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. It is very, very much so. And I know there wasn't, just our community. I know surrounding communities in the state were having it too. And it was just kind of like a outbreak. And I don't know. I'm going to throw this out there. And I know you're the professional and I don't even play one on TV. I'm just here. But I did hear someone say that they thought the reason the RSV was going around is because now we're not wearing masks and we're kissing faces again. So.
Very likely. I mean, we aren't being as proactive, so all illnesses are now going to be that much more transmittable because we're not taking the extra precautions to keep our germs to ourselves.
Right. And if you remember last year, we were doing that. We were masking up, and now, when we're not doing that and we're kissing faces like back to kids, which I'm a face kisser, so I have to. Well, I have to be careful on that. But we do have to be mindful where we're at and what's going on right now.
We went through so many days in June and July that we had probably between 0 and 10 cases in our whole area.
In our listing area. Yeah.
And I think people.
We were blue. Remember, we were blue.
Yeah, most of the state was blue, and I think that people kind of said, "Oh, we won," and then during that celebration, it kind of snuck back up,
and everybody just kind of backed off all their extra precautions.
But COVID is it's a reminder that it is still real and it's still going on, and I think that now let's go back a year ago or so, or at least, everybody was like, not really believing it. But I think everybody now has either had a loved one or knows someone or personally has gone through it. I think that people are more knowing that it needs to be attentioned, and definitely do what you can to avoid it, or also not give it to someone else.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Alicia, you are awesome. Is there anything else that we need to, if there is a site that we know Scottsburg, we know Corydon, we know Floyd Knobs, those are some of the listing areas. But if there is a site that pops up here in our community, which we hope they are working on something possibly, we'll definitely keep everyone in the know. And also be careful when you look at the site, just like we did. It's not necessarily 100% on that, or how do we? Is that rude for me to say that, or how do I?
That's another one of those hard ones where I don't want you to call the facility at that because that's going to overwhelm them. They may not have been too involved in it or know much about it. So right. I don't know. It's so tricky. Like, you should call us, call the health department. We're gonna check for those that are in our county. Call whatever county it is that you're going to for that test site and ask their local health department, is this truly a site? Can you please verify the dates and times for me? Because unfortunately, like we discussed earlier, as that communication gets passed along, sometimes it can be switched a little bit. Like the ones that you mentioned in Scottsburg, I thought that those ended Wednesday. I could be completely wrong about that, but I thought it was just a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And it could be, and it very, very possibly. And if it is the case, then please do call the Scottsburg or Scott County Health Department. But on ours too, and it's and with that, if someone's getting that, if somebody's getting like a special ride or or some asking a neighbor or something to take them or whatever, you hate for them to show up at a location and then it not be,
Correct. Yeah, especially if you're traveling somewhere, because like the ones we had this week that were calling us, hey, I showed up for this, I signed up online, the state site showed it, there's nothing here except a sign telling me there is no site. Those people had traveled several counties to get here.
Exactly.
So Call those county health departments and see if they'll verify that for you.
Right, and also real quick, another one I heard the other day, and this was something that I hadn't thought about. So let's say that you do have someone, or a family member drives you to get a shot or to get tested, or to get tested. Let's do that, and you have got it. Then you're in that vehicle with that person. I mean, there's so many things to take into account when you're dealing with this.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, like if you go and you pick up a loved one and they've got it, you almost have to keep your mask on, or and maybe roll down the windows or do whatever you need to do, when they're going to get tested.
Correct. Yeah. It's a lot more to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think I ever thought of it this way. I don't think I ever, I don't think I ever, it's really an eye-opener. Do you feel that way too, Alicia?
Absolutely. We're all trying to think outside the box and in different ways that we never had before. We're trying to make all those new pathways in the brain on new ways to think. And
yeah, and I can say honestly that I probably was this mom that would, if the doctor, like, let's say the girls had, and I don't remember too much, but something like maybe the flu or something, and, you take them and they tested positive or whatever, and then, then you've got to go and you go to the store and you get chicken noodle soup and you get Gatorade, you get all that stuff, and, with your child, right? Because you're not going to leave them out in the car, so you bring the child in, of course, and now this is just, we just so much to think about. We don't do that. You can't do that now.
Nope.
That's where you
call a loved one, call a neighbor,
absolutely.
Call a friend.
Yeah, well, phone a friend, and I just want to say this real quick again. There are resources out there. There are, like you said, there's online grocery pickup, which, thank God. I mean, what a beautiful blessing that we had that right before this all started. Also, there's churches that will help. There's individuals that will help. So there really are resources out there for people to use. And we're in the day now. We have beautiful cell phones. We have people that will, that have access to things that they can, put it on your, I remember whenever it was just like completely just shut down just about. I remember churches were bringing, groceries and putting them on the porch for people, so there's ways and there's people that will help, and please utilize that instead of getting out yourself.
Absolutely, and technology has made it so much easier for us to do your grocery pickup and go through the drive-through for your pharmacy. Yes. And everybody do their part, please.
Absolutely. Alicia, keep up the great work, and I appreciate you. So again, the thing that I know that you and I spoke with this earlier was this third shot, but it is something that you need to call the health department if you have some symptoms, right? Or
so we don't do testing, so don't call us if you have symptoms. You can call us if you need to try and find somewhere to get tested. Okay. But as far as the third shot, you can call us and let us know what your pre-existing conditions are, what makes you immunocompromised, and we'll let you know if you fit that category.
Right. And do not confuse this with the booster. And the booster, we do not have a booster yet.
Correct. They have not worked out all the kinks and details about that. So hopefully mid-September is what they're trying for, but sometime then or after.
Now, also, are they working on the vaccine to be available for younger kids that are actually some of the ones that are being affected right now?
They are. They're always doing more testing. I heard that there was another Pfizer trials going on for the really young children. So I can't tell you specific ages. I saw a child that looked to be around 1 year old that had been enrolled in the trial. So they're all doing their part. It's a game for them to get their vaccine out. They want to be the number one, so they're all going to be doing their part to do all these trials to try and get us safe and effective so that they can get their vaccine out to us.
All right. Alicia, let's give the phone number of the health department.
Phone number is 812-883-5603.
5603. Absolutely. Well, keep up the great work. Please stay healthy. And if there's anything else that, I open the airways anytime to you, anything that we can keep our listeners informed. And I feel like, remember, that was the one thing, the unknown was worse than the known. So let's keep knowing, let's keep informed. And also we want to make sure that it's accurate and that it's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's verified.
Yeah, squash those that crap, right? Those rumors.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it
Yeah,
out there.
and remember what state you live in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, follow the state rules. All right. Keep up the great work. Take care. Stay healthy, and I promised I'd have you out by 9, so you got time to get to your meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alicia. All right. Bye, hon.
Bye.
All right, wonderful, and I appreciate her taking time. And she's busy, girl. Got meetings to go to, but she took time for us, so thank you for that. And I was just, I was in another meeting with her this week, and I was amazed at some of the information that we're finding out, and just, I know a lot of people are just like trying to understand, and we're seeing a lot more people that are affected by this.
It is. It's like trying to kick the can down the road, and the can keeps moving.
Yeah, I feel like whenever they get the booster, I feel like the first person that will be contacting me will be Dr. Mindy Nutt, because she's ready for a booster, and I know she's been very good, informative, and very good information that she has shared, and I appreciate her wisdom and all that she's brought to the table too.
At the West Washington meeting the other night, and Eastern's Tuesday night, they talked about that the counties, the 3 schools were working on a plan together. So hopefully we'll see more about that real soon. I don't know what that entails, but she said that, I guess that's from the State Department of Health or the State Department of Education, that the school has 20% or more kids out for anything, whether it's chicken pox or the flu
or stomach virus
or something, then they need to shut down for a few days.
And that's something that's been in the past. I remember where they have had that, where they've had to, let school. I don't think it's been like a week or so, but maybe a few days or whatever, just to get everybody. I remember that one time when there wasn't enough trash cans because there was, and I know people were eating breakfast, but for the occasion, people were very sick. So I say it that way. Let me try to skirt around it. When somebody's eating their eggs and their bacon, they're going to push it away. But
sounds like an episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah, but if you happen to have any extra bacon, I guess I'll
bring it.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it out.
I can eat it. We will. This is the 26th day already of August. We're getting towards the end of the month. This is Make Your Own Luck Day. Make your own luck. There you go. This is also Musical Yoga Day. Okay. National Burger Day. Oh, have mercy.
There you go. Now we know what we're going to have to learn.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Well, pickles. I was going to try to make one of those pickle dogs.
Because I've sat and I whined about it for so long, right? And all I talked about, that pickle dog, yeah.
I'm going to get my knife out and start carving on the pickle. It's going to be like making a jack-o'-lantern.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say. I think that's going to be a big task, because you got to have the biggest pickle. You got to have a big pickle.
Yeah.
But anyway, today's National Burger Day. You can't go wrong. I just love a good cheeseburger, right?
We may have to put the pickle dog on hold.
The pickle dog might have to be pushed over for the big cheeseburger today. National Burger Day. And I've really not met too many burgers that I didn't like. This is your favorite, National Cherry Popsicle Day.
I would how many times do they get thrown out of the freezer because the green and the
you would be eating all the red, and then there's the other colors. You always offer the other colors to everybody else.
You should be able to just buy the red.
I'm sure there's some grocery store out there that can accommodate you on that. I just don't know for sure.
The bomb pops are pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty, especially around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
They look so good. This is also National Dog Day. Yay! Is every day not National Dog Day?
So.
Every day at our house is National Dog Day. They do pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, it's not just the dog days of summer. It's winter, fall, and spring too.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of. This is also National Toilet Paper Day. And now, okay, I'm gonna have you. When we first got married, we had to really work on the toilet paper. We had to have the toilet paper top, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, Becky had to encourage me to use toilet paper.
Well, I know that's don't
I'm
do that. That's not true.
It was in the presentation of the toilet paper.
of the toilet paper. And do you want
I
to
had
share?
to learn quite a bit about presentation. Anyways.
That is true. Oh
The-
my goodness,
the
the work I've done.
So if you're observant and you go to a stall somewhere near you and the toilet paper is hanging down underneath, that is wrong. It needs to hang over the top
Oh,
and down.
you are a good
So
man.
if you're in one of those, as I have been, and of course before COVID, and now for the last 2 years I wouldn't touch it, but now I would be tempted to change that and rectify the situation, but now
I just want to say that's hours of work, many days, but yay, we got it down. Do you remember though? Okay, let's go back and talk about those
there's
dark
a
days.
dissertation on toilet or on toothpaste.
Oh,
We'll save that.
definitely on that too. But we'll save that for toothpaste day. Don't want to give out all the secrets at once. But do you remember whenever we went through that great toilet paper run when nobody had toilet paper and everybody was? Do you remember? And then we went to some of the national parks and they actually had the toilet paper had a lockdown. Remember that? Because people were taking toilet paper from them. And that just, you think about that.
Why would you pay to get into a park and then go to their shelter house
and steal the toilet paper? Yeah, and then how do you, if you're out hiking, are you going to carry it? I guess for those. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
We have some at the transmitter for those just in case.
But don't tell that there'll be a run on that.
Tools.
Yeah, tools.
And
tools you have to keep. But we're not in that situation, and so thank God and thank goodness on that. So, which no one still, and I have asked and I have interviewed so many people, and no one has given me an answer for why that has happened.
Well, people just like people go buy bread and milk, whether they.
Well, but that's food. I mean,
I know, but if you have food, you need the other.
I don't know. Okay. All right.
I bet there's still somebody out there that's got some of that.
Oh,
paper
remember they were making it. I think they were giving away for Christmas too. Making Christmas gifts. This is also National Webmasters Day.
Oh, there you go.
Thoughtful Thursday. Ooh, let's be thoughtful today. I love that. Right?
Put our thinking caps on.
Thoughtful and be thanking. Yes, absolutely. Be very thankful. We should be thankful every day. That's exactly right. What a great way to start off your morning. Very thankful. All right, this is National Dog Day. I want to give you 15 dog facts for National Dog Day. So this is good for your supper table tonight. You can share this, okay? 53% of Americans think their dogs make better pets than cats. Okay. 49% of Americans consider themselves a dog person. Okay, number 3, 79% of women and 67% of men find it attractive when someone is outwardly affectionate towards a dog. I have to agree with that. I as a woman, I do think, I like a dog. I'm a dog person. Listen, I'm saying it, yeah. And I do find that, yeah, I do like that.
I was rebaptized into the dog.
It's a package deal. You have to
when you've got
out.
Marmaduke at home,
yes,
it's hard to not love them.
Yes, exactly. Let's see, number 4, a recent take my slobbery dog.
Oh, the worst one though is the mastiff.
Oh man, everywhere is slobber. I'm sorry.
Water, it just ran.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, number. Yeah, I know. That's a fun fact about me. What comes along with me is the slobbery. Okay, number 4, a recent survey found all states love dogs, but people in California, New York, and Washington love them the most. I disagree with that. I think we're strong here in our state loving dogs. Number 5, 68% of dog owners let their dogs sleep with them at least once a month.
On the floor.
And number 6, a poll found 45% of Americans have at least one dog living with them. It was done before the pandemic, so it might be higher now. Remember, a lot of people got dogs during the pandemic.
And they showed. I saw something back in the summer. People were taking them back.
Oh, don't say that.
Well,
I don't want to hear that. No. Keep your dog. You made a commitment.
Oh, here you go. We're going to solve this today.
1 in 3 Americans say a hot dog is a sandwich. That is not actually a dog fact. It is. Anyway, so it's not completely true. Number 8, and number 8. This is Hamburger Day. We can't have hot dogs. Number 8, our favorite dog breeds in 2021 are Labs, Golden Retrievers, and Alaskan Malamutes. Number 9, 49% of us think we could beat a medium-sized dog in a fight. I don't think so. I disagree with that. Number 10, just like fingerprints, every dog has nose print.
That's cool.
Their nose print. That's cool.
Can you imagine if the dogs had phones and they unlocked them with their nose print?
Yeah. Gotta use your nose print. Well, usually they do, though. They usually are kind of, they're small and everything. Number 11, 70% of the dog owners include their dog's name when they send out holiday gift cards. I do that sometimes. I don't send out cards anymore, though. I'm bad on that. Oh, man.
We had the perfect Christmas cards for dogs a couple of years ago.
Yes, we did. Number 12, yawning is contagious even for dogs, and they're 4 times more likely to do it if someone you know yawns instead of a stranger. So that's funny. I'm going to sit in the room tonight and I'm going to try to start yawning and see if I get any yawns from the dog.
Well, we did have a strange occurrence from the bulldog. She was licking air.
Yeah, that was
Randomly.
13, Australian Shepherds aren't from Australia. They're originally bred in the U.S., but they are such a good dog. Puppies are born deaf. They can't hear until they are around 3 weeks old. The dogs aren't colorblind like some people think. They can see blue and yellow pretty well.
Well, that's so sad. I didn't know puppies couldn't hear.
No, either. Probably because they're all
It's not just a
barking.
male. Not just a male puppy.
No, it's not selected here. It's a big difference. The number 15, the largest dog, even a mastiff named Zorba, weighed 343 pounds. The smallest was a Chihuahua named Millie. She weighed 1 pound. So, of course, I would be. Which dog would I pick? The mastiff
the
or the
mastiff.
Chihuahua? Yeah, that.
We come not too far from that with Scooby. Or
Yeah.
no, it would have been Sherman.
Sherman
was
yeah.
He weighed 243
Yeah.
pounds. I think. So he was 100 pounds off.
Very good, very good. All right, well, thanks for, we're over time, but let's thank our sponsors this morning. And we'll thank Alicia Thompson from our Washington County Health Department. Keep up the great work, everyone, and stay healthy, and call the health department if you have any questions. And I'll thank the sponsors. I got them right here. Sorry.
We have a new one, too, Celebrity Home Loan.
Yes, very good. And go down and see them. They are wonderful. Dennis
They
and
would treat you like a star.
They are fantastic, and they talk to you. Dennis and Autumn, go down and see them. They're wonderful right here, conveniently located on the square in Salem, and see what they can come up with. And of course, we know interest loans right now are a good price. A lot of people are looking for homes or starting out, so stop in and see them. We want to thank them. We also want to thank Walmart, Mediview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky County Cat and Corps, Dr. Moody Gunn, Dr. Black's Eyes Associates, and of course, Fox Company Wealth Management. Happy Thursday, everyone.
See you later.
5 days, just give KCC a call to get a quote and set up a time to get your dumpster delivered. Get rid of all this junk by calling KCC Dumpster Service at 812-946-0774 or message us at Kentuckiana Cat and Corps on Facebook. Thank you for your business, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Quinn Butler, a proud member of the American Senior Communities team. On the court, I've seen my fair share of victories, but as a nation, we now seek a victory through vaccination. Come on, give me a beat.
I took it. Of course I took it. The COVID vaccine may feel rushed, but is actually the result of focused collaborative work by experts. Safety steps have not been skipped. Give me a beat.
American Senior Communities, where caring people and teamwork make the difference.
WSLM will be back everywhere you are this fall for high school football action. Get in the WSLM Sports Zone on 97.9 FM, 1220 AM, and online at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
That's right. You can stream your favorite local team online at your choice of platforms, plus listening live